Manfred Raufer. I'd like to hear the story about you and your companions in detail. We have plenty of time.
As you may expect, I'm not particularly happy to share all this. I've tried to forget everything for the last 10 years. Yet I swear on my honor, I'll be truthful. I wish to release this burden.
Please, proceed then.
It began in June 44, when the Allied forces successfully landed in France, and had already taken a lot of territory from us. At the time, we were also losing our war on the Eastern Front. Ivan was hitting us hard. We already knew our fight was hopeless, but the Fuhrer stubbornly tried to save his face at our expense. We've been on Eastern front lines for 3 years already. 3 long and horrible years. Everything was different at that point. Do you know what it's like to live day to day with a constant feeling that you are already dead to this world? Me and Evald witnessed terrible atrocities during the withdrawal of our forces. I couldn't comprehend how they applied the principles and dignity of German soldiers. Us. I ended up in Battalione, a penal company. And this is how it all started.
We're close to our destination, you maggots. Maybe you will earn back some of your soldiers' honor. Ivan set a minefield on our left flank, but our artillery have pushed them back. You are ordered to clear the minefield, as it is the only way for our forces to withdraw. Evald, put your fucking helmet on your brainless head!
But Schütze Evald doesn't want to live anymore, sir.
Sir, I don't care about my brainless head, sir.
Scheiße, it's coming from their side! Driver, schnell! Incoming artillery fire! Scheiße!
Head. Evald, is that you?
Yeah! Come on! Get the fuck down! We need to get into the trench! Come on!
It was only after the adrenaline rush when I realized what we had got ourselves into. As deserters, we had no future, and no home to return to. Not at least until the war ended. If at all. We were dead men walking. I lost my purpose. The dream of freeing the world from Bolshevik ideals was a lie. When I joined the Wehrmacht, I imagined myself becoming a hero. I was to be nothing but a murderer of the innocent. Evald didn't care much where we were going. For now, he just wanted to get as far away from the Eastern Front as possible. So we traveled west, for hours on end. But for me, survival was not enough. I knew I needed to find a reason to keep going.
These damn bikes. They consume gas like a fucking panther.
We're lucky there's a village close. It didn't happen in the middle of nowhere.
Okay. We have some SS stationed here. It's Einsatzgruppen?
We're not even trying to talk to them.
See that barn over there? I bet they keep supplies inside.
Yeah, looks like it. I'll try to break in. Let's move. You still got that booze? Looks like they've started a party already.
Yep, I refill it anytime I can.
Huh. Out of Pervitin?
Yeah. For 2 days.
Well, I stopped taking that shit back at Leningrad.
If they didn't resupply it right after, I would die out of exhaustion anyway.
If there's one thing you need to know about Avold, it's that he thrived in chaos. For him, disobeying orders was as natural as breathing. He never cared much about anything. Just lived, trying to enjoy the living in his own ways. But what happened in Ponari changed him. He could no longer ignore the atrocities he had witnessed. So when Lucas asked for our help with his next mission, Avold immediately agreed. The Polish Home Army, Poland's national resistance movement, was a force to be reckoned with. Every Wehrmacht soldier knew that. The Poles were always ready, hiding and lying in wait, biding their time for the perfect moment to strike. No one underestimated them. Those who did, were already dead. We were told the Polish Home Army was one of the largest resistance movements in Europe at the time. As their newest recruits, and under the command of Lucas, we were tasked with helping them steal classified documents from a German military camp near Vilnius.
All right, people, shut up and listen. Lucas told us everything. He trusts you. So we all decided to trust you for this. It doesn't mean our leadership will, though. Right ahead. We have Fritz well dug in within this huge complex. This is their main headquarters in the area of Vilnius. Since 41, all planning is done right here. Your job is to gather any valuable intelligence you can find. Most importantly, focus on Vilnius defense plans. The Soviets are coming, so we intend to take the city from German hands before Ivan. So, take anything you think that will be useful before they send everything back to the Reich. They've started already. Feel yourself as a part of the Gate of Dawn operation. The main assault starts in 3 days. We depend on you. Maybe you're Germans, but we're probably the only army who'd welcome you.
I'm not a fucking German.
One more thing. Delay them raising the alarm as long as you can. It'll get the Krauts from all over on your ass. So again, stay low as long as you can.
All clear.
All clear. Wish us luck.
First, we need to find out how to get inside.
In case we separate, regroup in front of those hangars. See them?
Yeah, understood.
No problem. Whatever.
We felt vindicated, watching the camp burn. However, even though we proved we could be trusted, The home army still treated us like enemies. We were interrogated for days. The officers of the home army wanted to know everything. Who we were, why we deserted, and every conceivable detail about German military operations. Lucas had put in a good word for us, so eventually they let us go. Of course, not because they trusted us. We were simply another asset they could make use of. It turned out that the documents we stole contained reports of mass exterminations by the Germans of millions of Jews and Poles. What we witnessed in Ponari was just the tip of this unspeakable iceberg. I felt sick to my stomach. The home army wanted us to infiltrate one of the German concentration camps and gather first-hand evidence of the genocide. We were to become witnesses to the atrocities. But before I can tell you what happened next, I need to explain how we crossed paths with the so-called Silent Unseen. Trained in the United Kingdom, the Silent Unseen were elite Polish soldiers and paratroopers, well-versed in the art of covert operations. Their motto was to win your freedom or die trying. They were known as Rubble and Lead.
Okay, those two shouldn't be a problem anymore. We're close to the main square, finally. Our contact is some woman and she'll be waiting under the map.
The map?
Yeah, apparently the fucking Krauts have put some huge map in the main square showing their conquest.
Pretty good propaganda idea if you ask me, Captain.
I told you, stop calling me by rank on assignment. You're too used to it.
Affirmative, Sir Led.
And no, sir. You move ahead first. I won't blend into the crowd with that rifle on my back.
I should have no problem with that. On the way, sir.
I told you something.
Okay. Sorry, Leonard.
Call me Lead, goddammit.
Rubble and Lead completed their first mission on Polish soil flawlessly. They should have thought more about the consequences the assassination of Helmut Koch would have. The very same day, all hell broke loose. In an act of vengeance, the German forces randomly and indiscriminately murdered hundreds of civilians and imprisoned many more. They didn't care who paid the price for Koch's death, as long as an example was made. A display of power. And no one liked to show off their power more than them. Greta was caught during one of their roundups. She was imprisoned and would soon be tortured and interrogated. The Gestapo would make her reveal everything she knew, and then they'd kill her anyway. Getting Greta out of prison was a priority. The plan was hatched, a message was sent. Greta was ready to be rescued.
We're
close. I think the prison complex is just a few streets ahead. What's the plan?
The AK has an inside man somewhere there. He's been instructed to help Greta meet us in the first prison yard. But I'm going in alone.
Oh, I see. Greta needs a hero.
No, she's my sister-in-arms, and I would do it for anyone, especially if I'm commanded to do so.
Yeah, right.
And besides, this infiltration has to be done completely silently. I don't need an explosives guy here.
Oh, I'll be happy to lie down and pray for you to come back.
Oh, lucky you. I wish some luck for me as well, okay? I don't even know which cell block she's in, only our rendezvous point.
I'll miss you already, Cap. Bye-bye then.
Yeah, bye.
Stand up, you Polish whore. You thought you were on a fucking vacation. Now follow me. You're the last subhuman female on this block still able to walk. And what do Polish subhumans do? They serve their Aryan masters. And now you are at last getting the opportunity to do your duty. Move fast and enjoy your current condition. Tomorrow we start working on you. Maybe I'll even fuck some subhuman cunt. How would you like it, whore? No? Nobody will ask anyway. This nice piece of ass should not be spared. Schneller, du Schwein! Take that mop!
I should explain how I ended up in Bialystok prison. We were halfway to the Kulmhof when we were stopped by a German patrol. Although the Home Army prepared us well for such an eventuality, we still had to be careful. It seemed like everything was going well, till Eval drew too much attention to himself. We started arguing, couldn't keep his cover story straight, and that's what made the soldiers suspicious. Then something happened that I didn't expect. They left me behind. I couldn't believe it. I was both angry and scared. I was sure I'd be killed there and then. Yet that was not the fate that awaited me. Instead, it was something far worse than death. The Gestapo, the German secret police, interrogated and tortured me. I lost track of time. The tools they used, the methods, monsters. They knew how to break a man. They would not let me die until I gave them what they wanted. When I told them, I had no choice. Yet somehow, against all odds, I was given a chance to redeem myself. As for what happened next to Avold, I didn't care about that. I was sure our paths would never cross again.
So that's the street, yeah?
Our safe house is the other side of the square at the end of it. We've just got word from the Vilnius cell that 2 days ago all of their commanders have been captured by the Soviets.
My God. They're my people.
That's why we arranged an emergency meeting of our cell.
And by the way, we will talk about what can be done about releasing our friend, right?
Exactly. There's one problem, though. Latest events here in the city brought hell of an SS reinforcements on us.
Yeah, that checkpoint will be a problem. I fail at checkpoints, as we all know.
If you get the pass papers, I could hide you in my truck here and try to pass through. And it's possible. 2 days ago, our agents assassinated some higher-ranking SS maggots.
Yeah, it looks like a huge funeral out there.
Some of their officers will have pass papers for sure. Sneak into the graveyard, see what you can do.
Okay, we can do this. Otherwise, we'll work out something else.
Yeah, give us some time. Did you hear that? Vilnius fell to the Soviets.
Along with your partisan friends.
We're fucked, Evold. It will end up with Siberia for all of us.
If you're lucky.
Yeah. Half in the train, half in the ditch.
The Allies allied with Stalin, and they will never tell him to stop. Face it, we're alone.
You'll see. The Soviets will be telling everyone they liberated us from the Germans.
You have no idea what state of mind you sink into during torture. After a time, you become an open book. The Gestapo infiltrated my mind. I wasn't exactly sure what I told them, but I was sure they had broken me. But I was given a second chance. Ewald and Lucas were waiting for me. They wanted to explain what happened, but I was angry with them. They had abandoned me to save their own lives. In hindsight, I didn't realize it, but I would have done the same thing in their shoes. I explained to the others that we needed to head towards Kulmhof. Lucas was against it. He said it was too risky. He wasn't wrong. It was a suicide mission. I realized that I could not ask them to risk their lives without telling them the truth, but at the time, it was too much a risk for my own life. I couldn't stop now, so I told the group that I would go alone. To my surprise, Ned refused and said he was coming with me. Why did he decide to come alone? Looking back, I think he suspected something. We prepared our supplies, set up for Kulmhof that...
Okay, Jerry, the place is right ahead. You were so eager to get here, I expect you know what to do.
You didn't break that camera I gave you, right?
Right.
So, your steady hand may be useful here. Point is to take pictures of things which will resolve any doubts of what is actually happening in here.
I think it will be best for me to take them from above the ground to show the scale of all this.
Good idea. Some of these guard towers should be perfect.
Any input about this guy we're extracting?
I don't know what he looks like, and I've got no idea where he's at. I only have the name. Joachim Zemmler.
Oh, that's fucking great. If all Kraut plans are so sloppy, no wonder you're getting beaten by the Soviets.
I'm not the one who came up with this task. It was your commanders. Well, ours. And besides, fuck off, lad. I'm still on your side if you didn't notice.
Yeah, until your Kraut nature breaks loose. I think you're up to something here, Manny, but I don't know what yet.
Then think again, Leddy. As so far, you seem to be better at shooting than thinking.
Yeah, just you keep in mind, I have a special bullet reserved for you only.
Well, then you can shove it up your ass, Captain. I can hardly remember the torments I went through during the Gestapo interrogation. I told them the plans of our mission, why we were headed to Kulmhof, what we found near Vilnius. Everything. However, I do not believe that things would get so very complicated. I couldn't have known that the prisoners were going to start a rebellion. From the outset, my actions only made the situation worse. Although, not everything was lost. We obtained crucial evidence and saved a key witness of these atrocious events. A man named Joachim. We escaped, and that night in the safe house, Joachim told us about himself. Before the war, he owned a factory in Munich. But after Kristallnacht, a Nazi-led pogrom against the Jews, Joachim fled to Poland. When the Germans attacked Poland, he was captured and began his miserable journey from labor to concentration camps. This is where he got in touch with the Home Army and became their inside man. After weeks of stillness and waiting for any news from the Home Army headquarters, finally something moved. Greta showed up with orders that said we were going to London. We were to give the Allies evidence of the war crimes committed by the Germans. The shortest route, straight through German airspace, was not possible. Instead, as part of Operation Wildhorn 4, me, Joachim, and Greta flew to Brindisi in Italy, and from there towards the southern border of France. At the time, preparations for Operation Dragoon were already underway. We were assured we'd be completely safe. Unfortunately, no one considered we would accidentally be mistaken as an enemy. With no radio and a catastrophic fuel leak, we had no choice but to make an emergency landing in occupied France.
Oh, damn. Consider yourselves lucky, chaps. I have no bloody idea how I managed to land at all.
We're lucky it was just a fuel tank that was hit. Did I just say that?
Shh! Someone's coming. C'est un avion anglais. André, fais attention!
Oui.
State your business here. We've had an emergency landing on our way to London.
And this Dakota is not flying anywhere anymore.
What is your business in London?
Michel, patrouille monde.
It's a German patrol. Quick, follow me. So, what is your job? We have a very important message. It has to be delivered to the British government. What kind of message? Couldn't you telegraph it?
We can't telegraph me.
I see. It's confidential.
Who are you people, anyway?
We're Force Française de l'Intérieur, the FFI.
La Résistance. We're on the same page, then. We're with the Polish AK, the Home Army. Call me Greta. These two gentlemen are Joachim and Manfred.
Germans? It seems you people really do have something important to tell London.
Trust me, it is.
Joachim, ich verstehe fast gar nichts.
Shh. Alles ist in Ordnung.
Now look, I believe you falling from the sky exactly today is a sign.
What do you mean?
Tomorrow we are supposed to liberate Brive-la-Gaillarde, our hometown.
Supposed to?
Oui. Some of our key members were captured 2 days ago. We don't have enough manpower for the plan. I don't have a choice but to ask for your help. In return, we're going to help you get to London.
Sorry, Fraulein, but we have our own assignment.
Our plan involves killing dozens of high-ranking Nazi dignitaries.
Okay, go on.
Tonight, they're having an important gathering at a party near our town. The plan is to assault the event and massacre as many as we can. It will devastate their leadership in the region. And this is our chance to liberate ourselves. Interested?
Joachim?
Fuck, I'm in.
Manfred?
Ich weiß nicht, worüber ihr.
We're in.
Formidable. But we need to do some preparation. It is important to get inside the party first, in disguise. And you, Greta, fit the role perfectly. You will come to the party as Nicole Schneider, a French wife of one of the absent officers. She should be keeping the invitation at their mansion, here in the town. Break inside and steal it. Don't forget to take one of her fancy dresses. This is going to be your party outfit. Of course, La Pute has to die also. You should find her enjoying her time somewhere nearby. The last thing is that we need to cut off the local garrison from any reinforcements. Blowing up the radio station up on the hill should do the trick.
Do you have explosives?
Oui. That part was prepared successfully. Here, take them. Any questions?
No, I think we will handle this.
I like you already. Try to be as silent as you can. We don't want to draw their attention too soon.
Manfred, take this bomb. I don't know what to do with it.
Me neither.
So, from what I understand, we're blowing up the radio station and killing some lady.
Basically, yes.
And?
And then we will shoot Nazis.
Oh, well, that'll be something new.
Never enough, if you ask me.
Well, if there's only one person I wouldn't refuse to help kill Nazis, it's you, Joachim.
Appreciate it.
It was strange how peaceful life was in France. Striking contrast to what was happening in occupied Poland. As if the war was going on everywhere else. Except here. But the truth was, the Germans watched and controlled every single movement of its residents. Back then, I was wondering what was happening with the ones left in Poland. And with Ewald. Actually, I started to miss the bastard, I must admit. I still had hopes of meeting him and the rest of our crew after we returned from the British Isles. These hopes weren't in vain, as before we all separated, we established our meeting point, Led's family estate near Warsaw. But back to France. For months, French resistance had been formulating a plan, the aim of which was to kill several dozen German dignitaries attending a banquet at a mansion near the town. Unfortunately, in the days leading up to the banquet, the local resistance lost too many of its people for the plan to succeed. They had no choice but to seek outside help. We knew we had our own mission to accomplish, but we couldn't refuse the resistance, nor miss the chance to deal the Germans a staggering blow. I have to admit that the blink in Joachim's eye when it came to shooting these people still gives me the creeps.
Seems like we're here. What a beautiful place to live.
We shall be drowning it in Nazi blood.
Okay, we have everything discussed. Let's repeat the plan, shall we?
Manfred and Greta entering estate. With invitation, it all should be great.
Joachim going nearby back gates, waiting for the lock to be picked by his mates.
Manfred cuts the telegraph cable, ensuring their aid is not brought to the table.
Greta is letting Joachim in, keeping in mind she cannot be seen.
Joachim wears the officer's clothes, arriving at the party like a Nazi boss. Locking up the shelter is also his task, ensuring Nazis can't hide from us.
Manfred opens the servants' entrance, clearing the way for La Resistance. After all this, he shoots the flare, making the sign of giving them hell.
And then we're on the loose, killing them to the last one.
Okay, let's put the plan in motion. Come on, Manfred. Let's see how they party. Ugh, I feel stupid in this dress.
Well, you look astonishing, Greta. You will easily draw all the Germans' attention.
I'll never get used to picking up the enemy.
Isn't that what women do all the time?
I said the enemy.
Sometimes you act as all men were your enemies.
I'm only being professional.
I meant you all. Women in general.
I think you've spent too much time on the front line, soldier boy.
The mission was successful. Not wanting to wait around for the Germans' response, the French organized a flight for us to London. We were full of hope and optimism. We'd finally be able to rid ourselves of our overwhelming burden. Like in a fairy tale, where everything ends well, it couldn't have ended any other way. After all, we traveled thousands of miles, fought countless foes, embraced death many a time. Nothing could stop us. And yet, our mission was ground to a halt by petty British bureaucracy. Ironically, while we filled out one irrelevant document after another, the rest of our group was engaged in fighting a more tangible enemy elsewhere. Greta had regular contact with the Home Army. She kept us informed about what was going on in occupied Poland. She told us how Led and the others were ordered to join the Warsaw Uprising. At first, they had to break through the German-Russian front line near the city.
Seems like both sides are dug in pretty well here. It won't be easy to get through to Warsaw.
Yeah, but we have to work something out.
Look, the Russians are advancing.
And that's all, folks.
Maybe we should use one of the attacks as cover. Somehow.
Yeah, somehow. But they don't look so eager to attack anytime soon.
Perhaps, if we spread some fake orders... Lucas, you speak Russian so far as I remember.
Duh. So if I could get to that pissing off loudspeaker, I could work something out. Yeah, the Soviets are disorganized as hell. They should take the bait.
Okay, settled. Let's move out. If you need to do something noisy, wait for the next barrage.
Oh, thanks, Mr. Obvious.
Rubble, shut up.
Yes, Cap.
In London, it took weeks before we were finally allowed to meet the Secretary of Foreign Affairs. Although we all wanted to talk, the British only invited Joachim to the meeting. When Joachim returned, he was white as a ghost. He told us that they knew about everything, but could do nothing. They told him that the only solution was to win the entire war and bring the Nazis to justice in its aftermath. I was beyond devastated. Everything we did was for nothing. But Greta wasn't moved. Her thoughts were elsewhere, in Warsaw. The Warsaw Uprising was the largest Home Army operation in the history of occupied Poland. The inhabitants of Warsaw stood against the German oppressors. Every citizen of Warsaw wanted to help, so even the women and children fought. What they lacked in experience, they made up for with courage and hope. Besides, just like in the Paris Uprising, the Poles had hoped that the Allies would come to help them. And they believed that the approaching Red Army would join the fight as well. But the slaughter of countless Poles was in the Soviets' favor. Thanks to this, their own invasion and occupation would be less problematic. Fortunately, within the Red Army, there were those for whom the fate of the Polish insurgents could not be ignored. The Berling's army was an armed force created mainly from Polish prisoners who were previously deported to Siberia. For these people, fighting alongside the Soviets was their only hope of seeing their homeland again. Berling's soldiers managed to convince their superiors to let them join the uprising. For Stalin, they were nothing more than cannon fodder anyway. Under the cover of night, led with the rest of the group, and together with the soldiers from Berling's army, crossed the Vistula River and reached the western side of Warsaw. There, they joined the fight. A battle which, despite their hopes, had no chance of victory.
What a mess. Looks like the whole city became a ruin.
I don't even recognize these places, even though I was born and raised nearby.
We have to keep moving. If we don't want to become one of the dead heroes here, we have to find some insurgents and join them.
Agreed. At the end of the street lies a square.
Ah, shit! Take cover! Fucking Kraut marksmen are hidden in the buildings. They've got Gruevski. We gotta smoke them out and avenge him.
Hold your horses. Now I've got the highest rank here. We do it my way.
You're not my commander.
You're a Polish soldier, right? So shut up and listen to him, or I'll make you.
Thanks, Ebold. Listen, we've been here before many times, and we will resolve it our way. You wait here for us until the street is passable.
Can't we just move around or go somewhere else?
We're here to kill some Germans, right?
Yeah, and we're also here to help these people.
Exactly. We have to clear out these buildings ahead.
Affirmative.
Got it.
The uprising was defeated. Tens of thousands of young people sacrificed their lives in that hopeless fight, achieving absolutely nothing. At Hitler's personal request, Warsaw was razed to the ground as a warning to other German-occupied countries who thought of resisting the Führer's might. The defeat of the uprising was an unintentional gift for Stalin. Any Polish resistance the Soviets might face had been crushed by German hands. We finally managed to return to occupied Poland. Some time back, we agreed that upon our return, we were all to meet at Led's family estate. It had been a long time for all of us, and our disagreements didn't matter at this point. Somehow it was good to drown our sorrows together. A moment of peace. The question on everyone's mind was, what next? For my Polish friends, the war was still raging. The Soviets were just another invader whom they'd have to fight. For Joachim, it was quite the opposite. To him, the Soviets were the ones who defeated the oppressors of his kinsmen. Joachim suddenly stood up with a glass of vodka in his hand and made a toast to the so-called Soviet liberation. Led violently disagreed. Greta told us that Led's whole family was murdered by Russians. A similar fate awaited thousands of other Poles. The only thing that changed for them was the color of the tyrant's uniform. Joachim left in anger. There was too much going on for me that night, so I decided to go for a walk to get some fresh air. Some time passed, when suddenly a convoy of trucks barreled into the courtyard. It was the NKVD. They stormed out of their vehicles and ran inside. I helplessly watched them take my companions prisoner. How did they find out about us? How did they know we were here? Only we knew about Led's estate. I owed these people so much. I had to find a way to help them, as I knew they would be executed. Just like any Polish partisan captured by the NKVD. They were most likely headed to a prison compound in Warsaw, commonly known as Toledo. This was to be my last assignment. And this time, it was completely personal. This should be the place.
Oh, there must be a way to get these open. But the guard is still damn looking.
We're doomed. They'll transport us deep into Russia. People never come back from there.
They told me they had told my wife I'd been shot. I hope it's not true.
Quit moaning, we're still here. And we have to work something out. Going through.
Quick! The explosives will go off any second.
Hold tight! Anyone taking care of Led?
Yeah, let's go.
We're rolling!
You sure we want to let Joachim get away with it?
I don't want to be like him, Lucas.
So, 5 of you escaped the NKVD. And what then?
Then, we separated. It was much easier to move around the occupied territories alone than in a group. And each of us had their own expectations. I managed to flee to the US. For several years, I tried to build a new life, but at some point I just had to start looking for what was happening to my friends. I made some progress, but suddenly, you people appeared on my doorstep and brought me here.
Alicia Hetman, known as Greta. What do you know about her story after you separated?
She continued to work in conspiracy. But after 45, and after Yalta, when it became obvious that Poland stayed occupied, she managed to flee to the west. The most probable version I've heard is that she became an anti-communist activist in France. I believe France needs such people nowadays, huh?
Let's stick to the fact. What about Leonard Sokolovsky, aka Led?
Last time I spoke to him, after he recovered a bit, he was eager to continue fighting. Found his place in an active and relentless AK cell. I never heard about him again, but I do believe he's still hiding in the forest, making Soviet lives harder.
What about Lucas Yanis, the Lithuanian?
Lucas. He told us he was going back to Vilnius to work something out. The only thing I found out he managed to work out was a Soviet bullet in the head. He joined his friends. Probably just as almost every AK soldier I've met.
Jan Guzevich. Do you have any information about this man?
He was the only one of my companions I met when I managed to travel to Poland 2 years ago. He was a mess. He couldn't go back to his beloved Lvov, as after Yalta it was handed over to the Ukraine. He talked a lot, but I saw the man was dying. Last year I got a telegram from his family that Jan drank himself to death.
And Ewald Faber died in Warsaw. You sure about this?
Yes, I am sure. My friend saw it happen. Ewald never got his tombstone.
Ewald!
His corpse was never identified. But I'm sure he died. Otherwise, I'd do everything to speak to my friend again and reconcile.
Fine, Mr. Raufer. That's all we need to know right now.
You never asked about Joachim. And honestly, I have an impression he's the reason I've been brought here.
Your speculations do not concern this court. Take the defendant back to his cell. Considering all your sincerity, after hearing witnesses, this court was able to find humanity in you, Mr. Raufer. In our eyes, you redeemed yourself. Therefore, we proclaim you not guilty.